Hi, my name is Ellen and I work in the CSO, and this is my colleague Damien.
Hello.
This video will guide you in completing the spending notebook as part of your 2-week spending challenge. The Household Budget Survey collects information on what people spend money on each week and looks at items such as groceries, clothing, and other goods and services. This information is vital as it is used to update the basket of goods for the Consumer Price Index, which is used to measure the rate of inflation.
You have already completed half of the task by filling out the electronic questionnaire with your dedicated interviewer. Your interviewer has given you a spending notebook to complete. This notebook is an important part of the Household Budget Survey as it records your everyday spending, and the questionnaire is incomplete without it. The notebook must be kept for 14 days. Please ensure the receipts submitted fall within these 14 days. To support you in your 2-week spending challenge, here are 3 helpful steps. Step 1. Your receipts. Request and keep itemised receipts for each purchase you make during the 2-week period. Have a look at your receipts, and if what you purchased is not clearly described, please write in the extra details on your receipt. Please place these into the pouch in the spending notebook folder. Step 2. Your most recent spending on items such as electricity, car insurance and regular payments. Please enter the last payment you made on these in sections 1 to 6. You could use your bank statements or online banking to find accurate details of these payments to help you. Step 3. Spending that you don't have a receipt for. If you don't have a receipt for an item, just write it into sections 10 to 14 and explain what you bought following the instructions for that section. If you get a receipt, it will save you doing this.
The notebook cover will be filled out by your interviewer. Page 2 shows an example of a good receipt. A good receipt is easily readable with detailed descriptions of the items purchased and is dated within the 14-day period. If you have a receipt for purchase, then put it in the pouch in the spending notebook folder. If it is not clear what the item is from the receipt, please write it on the receipt. If you do not have a receipt, please write in the details of the purchase under the correct heading in the spending notebook. You will complete the usual purchases page with your interviewer. It gives us more detail on the most common grocery items that will appear on the receipts you provide.
Sections 1 through 6 provide us with information on payments you have made for items such as utility and phone bills, loans and other regular outgoings. Please enter the most recent payment in the appropriate section. Please pay attention to the period last payment covered box and the method of payment box in each section. That completes this part of the spending notebook. In the following sections, the entries must relate to the 14-day notebook period.
In section 7, please record winnings, including online winnings, that you have collected or received during the 14-day period. In section 8, please enter any expenses from the 14-day period that has been or will be fully or partly refunded by your employer or business. For example, if you got a refund for fuel from your employer or business. If the amount is not paid in euro, please include the appropriate currency. Otherwise, leave blank. In section 9, please enter details of any homegrown and wild foods that you bring into your home during the 14-day period. Please weigh or measure them before preparation and record this as shown in the example. If you do not have a receipt for food or drink purchases, such as grocery items, takeaway meals, or snacks, please enter the details under the appropriate sections 10 through 12. Please enter a brief description of the item along with how it was purchased.
In section 13, please enter details of clothing and footwear purchased if you do not have a receipt for it. Please enter M if the item is for a male and F if the item is for a female in the appropriate box. If the item is for a child under 16, please enter the child's age in the box provided. In section 14, please enter details of all purchases that are not food or clothing that you do not have a receipt for, such as public transport costs, medical costs, or diesel or petrol. If you go on a trip abroad during the 14-day period, please enter the country visited and the dates you leave and return in section 15. Please tick the appropriate box in section 16 and make a note of the special circumstances if your reply is yes. This text box is for recording any special circumstances during the 14-day period which meant that your expenditure was different than usual, such as attending a wedding. Please use the notes page to give detailed descriptions of unclear or vague receipt items as in the example. Alternatively, you can just write this onto the receipt. The more receipts you keep, the less you need to enter in sections 10 through 15.
As always, your data will be kept 100% confidential, and there will be no way to identify individuals or households that took part.
Your participation is important. It tells us the impact of the cost of living, and this helps others. We can only do this important work with your support. Thank you for taking part.